Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, wide awake at 2 a.m., wondering why sleep just doesn't come as easily as it used to? Maybe you fall asleep fine, but then you're tossing and turning, waking up every couple of hours. Or perhaps you wake up feeling more tired than when you went to bed. You're not alone, and it's not just part of aging like some people say. In fact, there are certain bedtime habits that quietly take a toll on our health after 70, and some of them can be far more dangerous than they seem. Now I want to tell you about a man named Walter. He was 71, full of life, had just retired, loved gardening and reading mystery novels. One evening, he went to bed just like any other night, but he never woke up. His story isn't shared to scare anyone, but to highlight something important. Sleep, especially after 70, is no small thing. What we do in the hour or two before bed can make the difference between restful sleep and silent risks we never saw coming. That's why in today's video we're going to talk about 4 common bedtime habits that might seem harmless, but after 70, they can quietly chip away at your health and well-being. And more importantly, I'll show you what to do instead, so you can sleep more soundly and wake up feeling safer, stronger, and more refreshed. So let's ease into it gently. Let's start with something many people do without thinking: falling asleep with the TV on. Now I know it might feel comforting, the familiar voices, a favorite show, that soft flicker of light. But here's the thing: that light and sound may be doing more harm than good. Our brains were designed to sleep in the dark, quiet stillness of night. When we leave the TV on, even if our eyes are closed, the brain is still detecting flickers of light and bursts of sound. It keeps parts of your brain awake even when you're asleep. Over time, that kind of interrupted sleep increases the risk of memory problems, heart strain, and poor circulation. One study even linked artificial light exposure during sleep to higher chances of developing high blood pressure. Instead of nodding off to a crime drama or late-night talk show, try replacing it with soft music, or better yet, a simple bedtime story podcast or guided meditation with your screen turned off. Now here's another habit that might surprise you: going to bed too full or worse after a late-night heavy meal. After 70, your digestion slows down, and your body needs time to process food before winding down. When we eat a big meal close to bedtime, especially something greasy or sugary, it doesn't just cause indigestion or heartburn, it can actually increase the risk of sleep apnea, acid reflux, and poor oxygen flow during sleep. That restless feeling or waking up gasping, sometimes it starts with the plate. If you find yourself getting hungry at night, it's okay to have a small light snack, maybe a banana or a few crackers. Just steer clear of the heavy stuff 2 to 3 hours before your head hits the pillow. Now that we've talked about the impact of late-night TV and heavy meals before bed, let's move into another common evening mistake that many overlook, even though it affects something as essential as your heart rhythm. Now that we've touched on how late-night eating and overstimulation before bed can affect our health, let's turn our attention to something that often sneaks into our nightly routine without us realizing just how damaging it can be: falling asleep in front of the TV. It might seem harmless, even comforting, to doze off with the television murmuring in the background. But here's the thing: our brains never truly rest when there's light and noise flickering in the room, especially when that light is coming from a screen. As we get older, our sleep naturally becomes lighter and more fragile. That background TV noise can actually disrupt the deepest stages of sleep, even if you don't fully wake up. The constant changes in volume, flashing lights, and emotional shifts in whatever's playing on the screen can keep your brain in a semi-alert state, making your rest feel shallow and unrefreshing. You might fall asleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. thinking you've gotten 8 hours, but in reality, your brain never got the chance to fully recharge. One helpful shift is to create a gentle wind-down routine that replaces the TV habit. Try soft music, a good book, or even an audiobook with a sleep timer set. Many people find that the soothing sound of a narrator's voice can help them relax without the harsh stimulation of a glowing screen. And if silence feels too quiet, white noise machines or calming nature sounds like rain or ocean waves can provide that background comfort without disrupting your brain's natural sleep rhythms. Another bedtime habit that's surprisingly harmful after 70 is holding in worries or mental to-do list as you drift off. You've probably experienced this at some point. Your head hits the pillow and suddenly your brain lights up with thoughts about tomorrow's errands, what the doctor said last week, or a memory from years ago that just won't leave you alone. It's like your mind decides bedtime is the perfect moment to unpack the whole suitcase of life. What's important to understand is that stress and anxiety don't just affect your peace of mind, they affect your physical health too. Holding tension before sleep can raise your heart rate, tighten your muscles, and flood your system with stress hormones like cortisol. This not only keeps you from falling asleep easily, but it can also lead to fragmented rest throughout the night. And over time, that kind of disruption adds up, increasing your risk for things like high blood pressure, heart issues, and even memory problems. One simple but powerful tool to counter this is a bedtime journal. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, just a small notebook where you can jot down your thoughts, worries, or even a short list of what you're grateful for that day. Giving your mind a safe space to unload before bed can work wonders. Some people also like guided relaxation recordings or deep breathing exercises to ease into a calmer state. Now that we've covered the impact of screen time and mental stress at bedtime, let's move on to something else that often gets overlooked, but plays a big role in whether you wake up feeling refreshed or completely drained. Hydration. Yep, you heard that right. Staying hydrated may not sound like a bedtime issue, but it has a surprisingly big impact on the quality of your sleep, especially as we get older. After the age of 70, our bodies naturally lose water more quickly, and our sense of thirst becomes less accurate. That means we're more likely to go to bed slightly dehydrated without even realizing it. Why does that matter for sleep? Because even mild dehydration can lead to dry mouth, leg cramps, headaches, and increased heart rate, all of which can disturb your sleep or make you toss and turn. On top of that, dehydration can also thicken your blood a bit, which puts extra strain on your heart while it's supposed to be resting. But here's the tricky part. If you drink too much water right before bed, you'll likely find yourself making frequent trips to the bathroom during the night, which is equally disruptive to deep sleep. So what's the sweet spot? Experts recommend tapering off fluids about 2 hours before bedtime while making sure you stay hydrated throughout the day. A good rule of thumb is to start your morning with a glass of water, sip consistently through the day, and then ease up as the evening winds down. Also, watch out for things that dehydrate you, like too much caffeine or alcohol in the afternoon or evening. And speaking of alcohol, that brings us to another nighttime habit that might feel like a treat, but can sneakily sabotage your sleep and overall health after 70, using alcohol to unwind before bed. Many people enjoy a small glass of wine in the evening, thinking it helps them relax or fall asleep faster. And while it's true that alcohol can make you drowsy initially, it actually interferes with the second half of your sleep cycle. You may fall asleep quickly, but you're more likely to wake up in the middle of the night, feel restless, or experience fragmented sleep. Over time, regular evening drinking can lead to poor sleep quality, increased inflammation, and even greater risks for heart disease and memory issues. If winding down in the evening is important to you, as it is, for most of us, there are healthier alternatives. Herbal teas like chamomile, lemon balm, or passion flower are known to help the body and mind relax naturally. Or you could try gentle stretches, aromatherapy, or even a warm bath to signal to your body that it's time to slow down. We've now covered some of the biggest sleep disruptors: late night eating, screen time, stress, dehydration, and alcohol. But there's one more silent habit that many people don't even think about, and it might be the most important one of all. Stay tuned for that in the final part of this series on nighttime habits to avoid after 70. Let's talk about sedentary evenings, those long stretches of time before bed spent sitting in one spot, not moving much at all. Now, winding down at the end of the day is important, but too much inactivity in the hours before bed can actually work against you. As we age, our muscles and joints stiffen more easily, and our circulation naturally slows down. Sitting for long periods, especially after dinner, can lead to stiffness, poor blood flow, and even trouble falling asleep later. But here's the real kicker. Light movement in the evening can actually improve your sleep quality. It helps your body digest food better, reduces anxiety, and encourages the production of melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep. You don't need a full workout. Just a short walk after dinner, some gentle yoga, or even light housework can do the trick. And there's another hidden benefit. Evening movement gives your body a natural cue to start relaxing. It's like telling your system, okay, we're winding down now. That's especially helpful if you've had a mentally stimulating day or have a hard time switching off your thoughts at night. So instead of going from dinner straight to the couch or bed, think about incorporating just 10 to 15 minutes of light activity. You'll feel looser, calmer, and more ready to drift off into restful sleep. To recap, the habits to steer clear of after 70 for better sleep and long-term health are eating large or heavy meals late at night, using screens too close to bedtime, going to bed with a stressed-out mind, not managing hydration properly, relying on alcohol to fall asleep, being completely inactive in the evening. Making just a few small changes in these areas can lead to deeper sleep, more energy during the day, and better overall health as you age. If you found this series helpful, consider sharing it with someone you care about. After all, a good night's sleep is one of the best gifts you can give yourself at any age. Sweet dreams.